Good morning, viewers, and welcome to today on ACNN, your trusted window on trending updates, Anglicanism, sport, and stories that are shaping our world. We are going to be challenging perspective and breaking every form of stereotype just to bring you stories that are anchored on integrity, guided by truth, and viewed through the lens of faith. Nigeria political landscape remain active as debate continue over party realignment ahead of the 2027 general election, with fresh reaction trailing recent defection and electoral developments. And of utmost importance is the fresh dispute that is brewing between INEC and the ruling APC over the party revised list of the National Assembly candidate for the 2027 general election. While the APC has reinstated some aspirants party, after internal appeal, beg your pardon, INEC insists it will only accept candidates who emerge from primaries officially monitored by the commission. A whole lot indeed to take in from this. I am Gordon Ujiri, your anchor, but I am not alone this morning in the studio. And to so many of us, the voice you have been hearing all the way from Usasa Zaria is right here with me in the studio. Let me allow him introduce himself.
Thank you so much, Godwin. Somtochkulo Kizo.
All right, Somto, thank you so much.
Thank you.
And it gladdens my heart to know you are in Abuja once more to join me on set. A whole lot of persons will not know, but you know what I'm talking about. All right, and we have joining us virtually from Delta State to do justice to all of the issues we have for you this morning, Comrade Abraham Soko, who is a political and a sports analyst. Comrade Soko, good morning and welcome to the show.
Good morning, Mr. Godwin. Good morning to Mr. Zomto in the studio. It's a pleasure to be here this morning, and also good morning to our viewers.
Thank you so much, comrade. And also, I have joining us also Dr. Israel Kudaye, who is a professional Nigerian referee. Doctor, good morning and welcome to the show this morning.
Good morning, Mr. Godwin. In fact, I'm happy to be here once again.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. It's nice to have you. And the show promises to come with a whole lot of exciteful moments this morning. But to our viewers, remember that you can be part of this show by calling in the number showing on your screen and also by sending us your comments via our various social media platform. But first, like we do it, we take a look at some select newspapers headlines that came in this morning. And I will let my co-anchor to take it up from here.
Let's begin with the Vanguard newspaper this morning. And just above the masthead, a story on page 15. It says Nigeria must not witness another civil war. This is a statement coming from the former president of Nigeria, retired General Olusegun Obasanjo. And then we have the major story on page 5 that says why APC ditched Suswem 25 as candidate. And we can see the kickers below that. And also on page 9, still on the Vanguard newspaper, this is a statement coming from the presidential candidate of the NDC. Says, my presidency will unite Nigeria for human capital development. And on page 8, statements from the president in regards to NYS. It says deployment to security challenge states will be guided by risk assessment. And then on page 26, statement coming from the Senate in regards to the state police says mechanisms to stop government abuse are underway. And the kicker says this in regards to as governors promise speedy approval. Then a story that caught my attention there is a story on page 15 in regards to the Oyo State School adoption. It says Oyo teachers suspend strike. The story we can find on page 15. And then lastly, what we have to take is a story on page 6 that talked about the alleged coup plot. DSS dogs fives for hiding ex-governors' whereabouts. Let's quickly move to the Guardian newspaper. And above, below the masthead on page 3, we have a story that says INEC chair rules citizens' loss of confidence in electoral processes. And then on page 3, still on the attempt of the coup attempt, as we just read earlier on the Vanguard newspaper. While on page 6, it's the issue of the flood. It says Nigeria hopeful of lower prices relief as federal government slashes tariff. And then we have some picture stories on the recent floodings that took place in Lagos State. On page 4, still on the civil war as we read earlier, says Obasanjo warns against conflict, says 1967 civil war triggers persist. 1967 civil war triggers persist. And then lastly, what we have to take is a story on page 5. NUT suspends strike and direct oil teachers to resume work today. That's all I have with me this morning. Thank you, Godwin.
All right, thank you, Somto. Very quickly, I would be looking at the front page of the Punch newspaper this morning. And the Punch is leading with these very bold headlines. It says post primary rule, INEC, APC may clash over official Senate list. This story can be seen on page 2 of the Punch newspaper, and it's coming with this kicker there. It says APC replaces 7 Senate candidates amid ticket horse trading in 9 states. Also, we have a party intervention forces Alia Ayedetiwa Akume Tunji Ojo into high-stake deals. And then lastly on that, we have INEC to recognize only candidate from monitored primaries, electoral umpire. This is what INEC is saying concerning that. And then just by the side of the picture story there, we have World Bank approves $1.25 billion Nigerian loan despite debt consigned. This story can be seen on page 20 of the Punch newspaper there. And then lastly on the Punch newspaper there, we have Lagos flood, resident fault Air Force fence blockage drainage. And this story can be seen on pages 4 and 5 of the Punch newspaper. And then moving on very quickly, we would take the Daily Global. And the Daily Global is leading with this story. It says, you ended era of abandoned road projects. Of abandoned road in the Federal Capital Territory, Tinubu hails Wiki. All right, and then we have Pope Leo the 14th appoints Archbishop Martins to Vatican Dicastery as the first Nigerian bishop to hold that role. And then lastly, on that paper, we have Ondo police rescue abducted woman, recover stolen vehicle after gun battle with armed men in Owo. And then moving on very quickly, we would be looking at some of the stories that are making rounds, for which I know we have taken in the front page of our major newspaper that we have read out to you viewers. And to kickstart that is a major issue of concern to me, and also I think to Somto here also in the studio, and also would be to our virtual guest. That is the incidences that we are seeing as regards to the forthcoming election. What actually is going on? Should we say that the electoral umpire is taking a good stand, a good position as regards the issue of internal party rivalries and politics that ought to be seen to take place in a time like this? Should we also see it as the right timing for all of these things? These are some of the issues that we would be looking at as we dive into the discussion segment of the show this morning. Somto, I just want to come to you before I go to Comrade Soku, who also doubles as an APC chieftain. You know, he has always been in the defense of the APC, for which I would want to commend him this morning because, give or take, you understand that everyone has his or her own interest to protect when it comes to the internal politics of parties. But now, what we are seeing, having INEC and APC seeing the possibility of a clash over a Senate list is of utmost importance to us in this show. And just as we took it from the Punch newspaper, it reads, and I repeat again, that APC replaces 7 Senate candidates amid ticket horse trading in 9 states. And then of utmost importance again to me, it says INEC to recognize only candidate for monitored primaries. Okay, so let me leave you out now and then bring in Komesoko, who happens to be the chieftain of APC. Comrade, good morning once more, and thank you for joining us. Our viewers are eagerly waiting for an explanation as regards to what is presently happening in your party. Can you help us make sense of it?
Okay, thank you very, very much, Mr. Godwin. First off, I would want to start by saying that, sometime in 2026 or so, the Electoral Act was amended, and this led to the deployment of direct primaries. And according to some of the laws in that particular amended Electoral Act, it stated that there are actually two ways in which parties can actually conduct primary elections. They adopted the direct elections, and they also spoke about the consensus method. And because of the conflict of a lot of interest, the consensus method, I think most of the time did not work. Because even if you look at our presidential election, there was someone that did not agree to the consensus, and the elections presidential primaries were conducted. On the clash with INEC, I think this situation is going to end in court because I don't know if INEC actually have the powers to actually intervene in internal party affairs. So this is going to probably go to litigation, and I think the court will be the one to make these interpretations. I would want to add, finally, at this point, that the situation we are seeing right now, it's not restricted to just the APC. We had similar rancors in the ADC and the NDC. We saw a situation where Miss Aisha, when she was trying to contest for the senatorial election in FCT, she was substituted. The party adopted their own internal party mechanisms, and she shouted and she made a lot of uproar in that particular situation. And also, if you go to the ADC, they still have their challenges also. I would want to see, finally, that these issues are to be expected. Because as I said earlier, this is the first time that we are actually conducting the direct primaries and using the consensus method in the history of the country. So I believe that as we progress, these parties, both the APC, both the EDC, and the LDC, they will get their acts together. Thank you very much, Mr. Bobby.
All right. Thank you so much, Comrade Soko. But still, I would still want to stick with you on on this, because you said the best that will happen on issues like this is that it would end up in court. But I just want to raise, I know politics, many would call it a dirty game, but to those who understand the onions of the game, will know how best to play it. Now, I just want to know, because the news going viral is that most of the senators who so many persons were promised, say, electoral seats or to retain their seat on account of the primary election. And when these elections was then done, some of them lost their seat. And normally, within the ethics of, say, politics, if there is a word like that, you understand that these persons are out of the game, at least for that particular election year. Why then is a party coming back to finding a way to reinstate most of them? This is where I think the confrontation between them and INEC is coming from. What would you say of this kind of action coming from your own party?
Yeah, thank you very, very much, Mr. Godwin. What I would want to add at this point is that these it's
All right, it's obvious that we have lost him there due to the network. Sometimes I would be coming to you now because, okay.
Regards to the recent happenings of the clash between the Senate list and the INEC, we totally cannot say if it is illegal, because I believe there are some basis for this under the Constitution, under the Electoral Act, and also under the party's constitution. The party still reserves the right to do some of these things, and in some cases, in the case of death, in the case of withdrawal, or in the case of appeal within the party. One thing I know for sure is that INEC actually do not have the right to interfere in party primaries. They don't have a stake to which or what names are being submitted to them. So just as our Comrade Soko has said earlier, this might end up becoming a court case, and the moment it becomes a court case, it tends to drag over time. And the more it drags, the more it delays, the more the election draws closer. So I strongly believe this should be a party issue. But secondly, it calls our attention to how party primaries are being conducted. You know, earlier on we saw videos surfacing online of how the APC conducted their primaries, how they skipped numbers, and everyone turned a blind eye to it. And I believe some of the people which it favored then and they closed their mouth are probably some that are also feeling the bite this time around. So you see, when rather than having things done there, when you now ask yourself the question, when it favored you, you didn't say anything. This time around, where it's no longer in your favor, you have something to say. It actually it's a concern that the parties internally should should be free and fair in conducting their elections. And also, I strongly feel that the people involved should probably have been communicated earlier. This seems to be like a surprise to some of them, because the list that is with the INEC is not the same with some of the people. It's just as though my name was on the list and eventually my name is no longer there. I feel there was no proper communication within the party primaries, but the party still reserves its right under their constitution, under the Electoral Act, to still withdraw whichever name they choose to withdraw. And INEC doesn't have a say in it. So it should be an APC affair. It should be sorted out. But still yet, it still just draws your attention to the kind of democracy we run in the country. And
All
so
right.
yeah.
Thank you so much, Sumto. Dr. Israel, I would be coming to you now. Sumto have said a whole lot. And then I was actually hoping that the network of Komisoko would allow him to express his thoughts concerning that question. But one thing Somto raised or ended with is that all of this boils down to the kind of politics we run in the country. Now, Doctor, I just want to ask because INEC is the only, I repeat again, with every sense of emphasis, the only umpire, just as you are a professional ref, the only umpire that is given the legal right to monitor primaries. And as it stands now, the primary they monitored and saw candidate emerge from it duly. They have taken note of those candidates, and the parties are going back now to say, for the purpose of internal party politics and a whole lot, these candidates would no longer be recognized. We have our own fresh list, and then they are ditching some persons and trying to project some other persons. Now, given the fact that INEC is saying we are only going to recognize those for which we monitored and whose name came up as a duly contested candidate during primary election. And now, with all of this, what would you have to say concerning the kind of politics we play in Nigeria?
Thank you, Mr. Godwin. I think politics in Nigeria is a dirty game. You already gave the answer. The more you look, the less you see happens in Nigeria. It's what we want. What they want comes out. Let me say something. The INEC does not have the right to insist on the result of a list sent by a party. As comrade, though I feel that it is bad, it's biased, being it is corruption that brings about you inflicting or changing results of what INEC has come has passed or the process INEC has followed, and you are coming back to tell them that. But for the fact that the party has right to do and undo shows that Nigeria politics is nothing to write home about. We don't have standard in the politics of Nigeria. We don't even have confidence in the politics of Nigeria. Like the man in the studio, what said on the studio, the corruption has eaten deep to us, and some persons enjoyed it too. Now it is not favoring them. Now they are coming to from the angle of INEC to overrule or clash or have something. But in the time past, they have enjoyed that same privilege. So I don't think the to cut my tooth. I don't want to say something much in this issue because it boils down on the kind of politics we have in Nigeria. Very corrupt. Everywhere is corrupt.
All right.
Everybody wants to buy their way through, and corruption keeps springing up every day. So it boils down to the politics as the other man has said. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. From Somto in the studio to Dr. Okuda Ede said everything boils down to the kind of politics. And the question I asked, what kind of politics do we play in Nigeria? I will leave my viewers to answer that question. But Komisoko, you are back, and I will leave you to just express your thoughts in, say, 1 minute.
Thank you very, very much, Mr. Godwin. So the question that you asked, and I think the issue that both Mr. Zonto and Dr. Kudaye is raising, is how can we play this kind of politics? Having allegedly won at the direct primaries, and your name is substituted from the neutrals, from the independent analysts. It might sound that okay, this is, as you have used very strong words, this is biased, this is unfair. But I would want to add that the National Working Committee in each party, they have these powers. And at this point, I want to also make an illustration with both the APC and LDC. Our own very Omwagege conducted a primary election under APC. Having lost, he went to NDC, and NDC gave him their tickets. And these are things that I feel that some other personalities might want to litigate. So as I said earlier, I would want to add at this point that as we go forward, I believe that direct primaries and the consensus will actually improve. Lastly, I believe that this should also be litigated so that we will get a perspective from the judiciary. Thank you very much, Mr. Brother.
All right, thank you so much, Comrade Soko there, and also Dr. Israel Kudaye, and to Somte also, thank you so much. Very quickly, we are moving away from that issue now and looking at a very troubling and disturbing issue that we have to look at this morning. And it says the Nigerian soldiers broke into Osun State universities, assaulted, beat students, rape and harassed female students. And this is coming from the VC of Osun State University. I wouldn't want to use the word allege because it seems as though there are evidence that and facts to prove this. But we will not dive into that before we take a look at the video we have for you. So let's take a look.
And we are truly wounded. As a father, as a Nigerian, as a father, as a Nigerian, I will say we should continue this for a whole day. Let the state, I don't mean Osun State, I mean the federal government of Nigeria, know that the people we have recruited to protect us have turned around to become our enemy. The people we have recruited to help us to safeguard our society have become threats to our peace as a people. The people we are supposed to call upon when we are under security threat have actually themselves become security threats against us.
Yes, sir.
This is not acceptable in any nation.
Yes, sir.
And it should not be acceptable in our university.
Yes, sir.
And should not be acceptable in Osogbo and in Osun State.
Yes, sir.
Therefore, the military top echelon has reached out to us. They actually came to campus this morning. 5 of the soldiers have been arrested.
Good. Yes. Good.
Five of them have been apprehended. We note that they raped our students.
Yes.
They harassed them. Put on record that they collected phones from students.
Yes,
removed SIM card and took away the phone.
Yes, sir.
They took away power banks.
Yes, sir.
They took away money from students.
Yes, sir.
They broke the doors and the windows of hostels.
Yes, sir.
They were not armed robbers.
Yes, sir.
They were just people who were out to torment other Nigerians in their legitimate abode.
Yes, sir.
They were in military uniform.
Yes, sir.
And we have evidence to prove that.
Yes, sir.
Therefore, I want to plead with you on behalf of the government of this state and on behalf of the people of this state, the peace-loving people of this state. We acknowledge the torment. We acknowledge the trauma. We acknowledge the psychological torture that everybody has gone through. I have myself visited the 12 or 13 hostels, and I wept when I was talking to the military commander that this should not happen in a sane society. Therefore, the military recruits that have just been passed out of training, they should be restricted within the barracks.
Yes.
We don't want to see them around the university environment.
Yes,
we don't want to see them anywhere we are.
Yes, sir.
If we need the military, we will call their top echelon to come and assist us.
Yes, sir.
But
All right, viewers, there you have it. The VC of Osun State University there lamenting about the perceived assault of whom we would call new recruits into the Nigerian army. But I just want to add this. I have stayed within an environment, say the Nigerian depot in Zaria, where you have recruit passing out. We know that we have a whole lot of issues as regards some of them, because due to the rigorous training, some of them find time to blend very quickly with the society. But I've never heard of an assault of this magnitude being meted out to civilians, especially within the university community, as we are hearing it happen presently in Osun State University there. So it begs for answers. It brings a whole lot of questions to mind as regards to, first, the kind of training these young lads may have gone through, the kind of expectation they think people want of them, and what they are presently doing. Somto, this is indeed very pathetic. You heard all what the VC have said. And I just brought a life scenario now that I've lived in Zaria. ABU is very close to the barracks, but not directly. But you still find students who live off campus close to the Nigerian depot there. But you never find issues or cases of assault like this. So why do we have this repeating itself or happening in Ocean State?
Um, the military, I will give two incidents. One, the there was a story I heard, or an incident I heard in why this recruit had been trained. There is something they call I can't remember the name exactly, but it's during your training or immediately after your training, they send you into the society more like to look for trouble and know how to defend yourself. I've heard something like that before. I can't remember the name, but you just go. You see these small young guys that have just been recruited. The army
Something
says
that tests their
yes to
guts.
this, yes,
Okay.
it has a way of building them to as they it's here in Nigeria or in the Africa setting that you see where the military is actually being used against the same people it was established to protect. Over there, you discover that it's a different ball game entirely. But yeah, it is different. So the military also has a way of marking their territories. That's why you hear something like when something happens to a military man, the few minutes later you are advised to evacuate that place because they are going to storm in their numbers. I don't know if you have heard of incidents like that. Okay, let me give you a story. In my school, there was a certain time during this no cash policy, then in Uniben no cash policy, a military guy came to withdraw because every day was a very long queue. But because he was putting on camouflage, he felt like he could run through, bounce everybody, and go to the front. And he did that. The civilian behind him pulled him back. And I told him that he should not try that. He tried to fight, and then I think there was an exchange. He slapped him, and it was the anger of the fact that there was a policy that wasn't favoring the people, and you are now coming to pose as a military guy. The entire people pounced on him, and then he fled. He literally jumped the fence out of the school to go, and we thought that that was the end. 2 days after, in the night, while everyone slept, they came in their numbers between the hours of 1, 2, 3. They came into the school compound. They destroyed cars that were parked. They broke glasses, windshields of people's cars. It was when we woke up the next day and we got into the school that we realized the havoc that they have perpetrated. So now,
Probably on the innocent.
probably yes, for people that had no, because they just want to show that they are the army. Now, what actually sparked this incident? A lot of witnesses are saying it's because the students, some of the students are putting on khaki camouflage. Here in Nigeria, when you put on such, the military tends to oppress you. But over there, they see it as a form of solidarity. No one even has your time, whether you are putting on a khaki trouser or a khaki short or a khaki shirt, no one. But here in Nigeria, you can't even have a camouflage hanky. It's a problem. So there was an incident of students putting on camouflage, and that was what prompted the attack on them. But then you ask yourself, where is the law that says you could pounce on innocent citizen? You enforce yourself into their private property. Allegedly, you assaulted students, you beat them, you inflicted injury. The army has actually acknowledged that yes, such things has happened and they were going to go into a proper investigation. But people are asking now, will there be compensation for those that were physically injured? Will there be compensation for ladies that were allegedly molested? Will these people face the court martial, or will you allow them face the civilian court? So a whole lot is involved. I think these new guys, their bloods are still, they should probably, the army, since it's the army, they know how best to handle the situation.
All right, viewers, there you heard it from some today. He said the army knows how best to handle the situation. All right, Dr. Israel, I believe you are with us in this thoughts. I just want to get your take on the conversation as regards the assault of the military. All right, our viewers, it's obvious that we are having network glitches there across our virtual platform and space where we engage. Okay, something you still have something?
If that the military has a way of handling it, it's because we we believe that there are more.
Let's try.
Okay, I believe there are more stronger institutions that govern the military than the police first. I don't know if you probably get where I'm coming from. So, in as much as we want to put our hope, I still believe there should be, what people are clamoring for is there should be a free and fair investigation. It should not just be the military guys. The civilians also should be allowed to probe this. There should be a clear investigation, and those that are found to be wanting should either be court martialed or let them be dismissed and face the full wrath of the law.
All right, something I quite agree with that, but there is something that is really troubling. You know, we live in a very disturbing time as a nation. Take, for instance, these are just new recruits who probably have spent just 6 months in training and a whole lot of cleansing, trying to take out the civilian mindset and infuse the military guts in them. And here we have this level of assault. I have seen young guys that said, my primary purpose of going into the military is for revenge.
Yeah.
So that these things that have been meted to me when I was a civilian, I would come out and you get. Now you have trained the likes of these ones the best way possible. And then even if you are to court martial them, probably you won't infuse them into the force. Where do you leave them?
Because martial them, they become normal citizens.
It's easier said than done. And what then happens to the level of training that they have come to be engaged on?
It's very possible, because one thing with the military is they are very precise. They are key on discipline. You'll be surprised that even generals. Now I was discussing with a military officer and said there are some certain things a general will do, and he'll be sent to a guard room even while he being a general. So let's still give it to them that there's still a level of discipline that they exhibit. So regardless of the training you've had, regardless of the training you've gone, if you breach the constitution, there's no one that is higher than the constitution. It's because things are not working here in Nigeria. If really it's in a civilized world where things are working, the first things that are to be done is that these guys will be suspended first, to remove them from any form of protection that the institution gives them. And if at the end of the day they are found to not be guilty, you now reinstate them. But if at the end of the day they are found to be guilty, you let them go. Let them go back into the society and face. It's not as if you are letting them to go. They would definitely face the wrath of the law.
All right. Something we hear you loud and clear. And then moving on to another trending issue this morning. We have coming from a revered man of God, the in person of Pastor Adeboye, who says, before Tinubu came into power, we are already having financial problem. We'll take that video now, and when we come back, we'll dive into that conversation also.
Before our president came in, everybody knew that the major reasons why we were having financial problems, we'll be having it too before he came in, is the fact that a lot of money was being spent to import petrol. How can we be importing petrol where we have this in abundance here? We spent billions of naira on our refineries. They didn't work. So we can be able to keep on importing. That's why when the president came in, the very first day he came, he said, this money they spend in importing petrol, he says he cancelled it. And we were all rejoicing. Hey, thank God. But some people were angry. Those who are making money from importing petrol. And they decided, okay, we will create a problem. And all of a sudden, naira began to go down fast. I cried to my people, let us pray. Thank God some people joined me in praying. Because the way naira was going then, if God has not intervened, by now $1 will be about 10,000 naira. But God stepped in.
Welcome back, viewers. There you had it from the Reverend Pastor himself, in person of Pastor Adeboye of the Redeemed Christian Church of God. A whole lot have been attributed to him as regards to comments lately, and for me personally, I begin to wonder who the spokesperson of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is, and why then should a pastor seems to be as though he's taking that position of being a spokesman for the present administration. But that is not my take. I would allow my guests to comment on that. Comrade Soko, I just want to take you on this and the issue of the soldiers assaulting students in Osun State University. Just in 2 minutes, can you give us your thoughts on both issues?
Okay, thank you very, very much, Mr. Godwin. I will start with the latter point you raised about the comments made by Daddy Jero Adeboye. I would want to add at this point that that man did not tell any lies in his narration, because what he has said is a fact that Nigerians had financial problems before the removal of subsidy. It is a fact that 24 states out of the 36 states in the country were not able to pay minimum wage, which was even lesser at that point in time. It is a fact that we had the parallel market rate and the official rate, a difference of over 350 naira, which created a room for arbitrage. So I don't think that Mr. Adeboye, Pastor Adeboye, told any lies. And I think the reason why this is generating a lot of uproar, people would want to say, okay, would want to point to his hypocrisy that, okay, this happened in the past, he did not make these comments. But what I would want to add at this point is that the response of the past administration and this present administration is quite different. Why are we just criticizing the comments of people? Other professionals, other experts, the IMF has come out to say Nigeria is doing well economic-wise. At a point in time, our economy was growing at, I think in 2025, 4.1%. The WTO president, Mrs. Okonjo-Iweala, has also heaped praise on the current administration, at least financially and fiscal. You can fact check me on in the cable news on the 30th. They reported that Nigeria's economy currently is growing faster than South Africa and other African countries. So these are the facts. On the issue of the military invasion of the university in Osun State, I would want to align my thoughts with the Vice Chancellor that this should be condemned in all entirety. Because when you have a close proximity to the university, if your barrack is close to the university, what you should do is to guarantee the safety of that particular institution. In Abuja, I don't know how true it is. I heard that yes, the barrack is actually close to the house rock. And I think that it's still the same purpose. So for us to see our military men, our recruits going into universities and assaulting students, I think it is totally shameful. We should not say it because of their rigorous training. No, I don't agree with that. The reason why you have this rigorous training is for you to be able to be physically strong, be mentally strong, and be able to cope with the challenges we have in this country, which is, I would add, is very numerous, it's plethora. So I would want to say that is not an excuse. But I want to at least, take a different approach from the point made by Mr. Zonto on the fact that in senior clients, they are allowed to wear khaki and all. I would want to say that we should not, we have different challenges from this so-called senior clients.
All right.
If there might be confusion when you wear your khaki, people might take advantage of this. You understand? You might not even be able to differentiate a real soldier and a civilian anymore or an authentic soldier.
All right. So, thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. God.
Thank you so much. Dr. Okudayo Israel, I am coming now to you. Do you share similar sentiments with that of Somto or Comrade Soko, the comment they have said as regards the both issues? Are your sentiments same with them?
No. Okay. I am against what the first point of Pastor G. Please, all those things. Let me say my personal opinion. Let pastors remove mouth from the economy of this country. Their duties are to pray for us. Don't drag your legs inside it. Even if you want to say the truth, people will drag your legs and they see anything you say as bad thing. The word of God is preachers should be to focus on preaching of the gospel and praying for the nation. Not coming to say the government say. Now, very dark man is bringing out his all the video of of people. He's bringing himself out and making content creators to talk ill about him. Whether he's saying the truth or not, my advice is he should remove his mouth from the politics of Nigeria, because people suffering will not agree to what he's saying. You cannot tell people that is suffering to say that what Tinubu is doing is right, or what Tinubu has done, or you're saying the economy, Komisoko is saying the economy is now boosting. In which part of the country? In which place? Let leaders of the religious leaders just condemn outrightly. Don't come to the social media to come and be praising or supporting somebody. Because if you bring that out there, people will not, even if you are saying the truth, other people that are against the leadership will not agree. So my advice is let him remove his mouth from all these politics. He should face his preaching and pray for the country, not to bring his life so that all these smaller voices and smaller content creators will come and use it, spoil or ridicule his name.
All right.
That's my take on that. Second one, for the military aspect, see, the truth is what is bad. You cannot support. I cannot support a recruit being into a university. In a university system, the chief security agent, chief security officer is the vice chancellor of the school. So what gave the right? Who opened the gate for the military officers in that school? Opened the gate for them to go and assault in that school. I don't understand this is the security system. please, they should face the law. In fact, they should strip them of their right, of their, even if they are in food, they should send them home, please, because
right.
we can't bring out new people to come and ridicule our name or spoil our team. If it's a civilian now, the next thing they should be given, if they rape somebody that has raped anybody, should be given 40 years. They should face the law so that others will follow suit. Nobody should behave like that. What is training? Are they not training some people in US? Why are the US people not coming out to rape people? Why is our own neighbor?
All right. Thank you so much, Dr. Israel Kudayo there, and also Comrade Soko, Abraham Soko there, all the way from Delta State. Thank you so much for making the first segment of this show quite an interesting one. And also to Somto here in the studio, thank you so much for all of your apt analysis on the discussion that we have been having from the very start of the show. And very quickly, we will be diving into the world of sport. I tell you, it has been a very exciting one. But after that, after we come back from this short break, we'll dive completely into that. And I trust you don't want to miss it. Welcome back, viewers. Welcome to the most exciting part for me on today on ACNN. And I tell you, today is Thursday, where we dive into the world of sports. This is that today on ACNN Sports Special. Now, I know you must have been waiting for all the updates as regards the World Cup, but I tell you, the race for football greatest prize, which is the World Cup, is gathering pace. At the FIFA World Cup knockout stage continues to produce thrilling encounters, stunning upsets, and unforgettable moments. Several teams have already secured their places in the round of 16 after a dramatic round of 32 victories. Canada edged South Africa 1-0. For me, that was the best part. To book their place in the next round, while Brazil overcame a determined Japan side with 2-1 victory. One of the biggest surprises came as Paraguay knocked out Germany on penalties after a hard-fought 1-1 draw. And one country that we would say is doing African proud is Morocco, who held their nerves from the sport to eliminate Netherlands, continuing their remarkable World Cup journey. I tell you this, a whole lot of persons will ask how far as regards the last AFCON. Could it be said that they actually deserve the spot? Let's leave that for our viewers. And then France sent out a strong title statement with an emphatic 3-0 victory over Sweden, while Norway defeated Ivory Coast 2-1, and Mexico comfortably dispatched Ecuador with a 2-0 win, and England fought back to defeat DR Congo from a 1-0 lead, later ended with a 2-1 lead in favor of the English team. Belgium delivered one of the tournament's most dramatic comeback recovery from 2-goal down to beat Senegal 3-2 after extra time. The United States also impressed by defeating Bosnia and Herzegovina 2-0 despite finishing the match with 10 men. Attention now shifts to today's highlights. Anticipated features where Spain faces Austria, Portugal will be battling Croatia, and Switzerland takes on Algeria with the remaining round of 16 places still up for grab. I tell you, a whole lot, a whole lot, a whole lot is on the table for us to look at. I am just so excited. The confirmed round of 16 clashes presently include Canada versus Morocco, um, against France. Brazil is taking on Norway. Mexico will be facing England. And then United States would be facing the likes of Belgium. The remaining features will be determined after the conclusion of today's match. And tomorrow's knockout matches, there we would see those who would be joining the already qualified team in as they would be going into the playoff for the round of 16. But one thing for us is this, that the tournament have entered its decisive phase. Every match now carries the weight of history. There is no second chances. Win and advance, lose and go home. Wow, this is the World Cup for you. And like I earlier introduced, I am still Gordon Ujiri, your anchor even for this segment. And I still have with me Somtochukwu Kizu, who would be giving his own ideas regards the World Cup. And I have joining me virtually also Comrade Abraham Soko, all the way from Delta State, who is a sport and a political analyst. And I also have Dr. Israel Kudaye, who is a professional referee, joining me, and also a sports analyst and a political commentator. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for joining me on the sports segment of the show this morning.
Thank you very much, Mr. Godwin. I'm very happy to be part of this segment because me and you, we don't get to fight a lot. I understand Mr. Zonto politics also, so I hope that we'll also be not disagree a lot in this edition of the program. Thank you very much.
You don't have to bother about me. I am strictly Portugal, so anything that does not involve Portugal, I will leave you guys out of it.
You see, we are ready alive.
Okay, yeah, you're my brother. You're my brother. You're my brother.
We are bodies.
Yeah.
All right, Dr. Israel, do you have anything to say on that?
Excited to be here. Those praying against they have gone to play like this team. I was supposed that I was in South Africa now. They have left the praying.
All right. Thank you so much, all of you, for joining me to discuss that. But before we go ahead, I will take a quick look at the Punch Sport Extra that came in also this morning. And the Punch front page is leading with a whole lot of story there. And of in the front page, we have Hurricane. I don't want to say hurricane now, but hurricane. Kane shows Nigeria the way against DR Congo. Englishman overtakes Pele with 13 World Cup goals. 13 World Cup goals. And he has overtaken Pele there. That is indeed a good one for the Englishman, also for the English team. And also we have CR7 in person of Cristiano Ronaldo, desperate to end knockout genes, as Portugal will be taking on Croatia. And then also we have just above Chikwueze 6 Milan reviver under Amorim. And then also we have Gala receives second 120 million euros. Osimhen offer there, and that story can be seen on page 6. And also on page 6 was where we have the story of Chikwueze there. And then also we have on tennis, Williams doubtful for Wimbledon and doubles. And then also on page 3 we have Yamal tells Alvarez to join Barca. On page 4 we have United, Liverpool, Chelsea in Bowen, chase. And then lastly on page 5, we have Arsenal get Bacola boost. Then I one more on that. Spain versus Austria. La Roja 6 lakhs last 16 tickets. This is a much we'll take on the front page of the Sponge Sport Extra this morning, and I would be diving into the conversation with my guest this morning. Komisoko, I will be starting with you. A whole lot of very interesting moments, a whole lot of very interesting moments have taken place since last Thursday, where we had a conversation like this to this point. But in all of these matches that have happened thus far, which of them actually was the most interesting for you thus far in in the period of game played?
Okay, thank you very, very much. I think the one that most of us will want to agree that is very interesting, I think, is the South Africa against Canada. Because, you know, in as much as we should not bring politics into sports, South Africa has been in a very bad limelight. And it was like, it's actually united Africa to see them actually exit the tournament. Also, another game is, I think, Senegal and just the other African teams, both Senegal and I think is it Cape Verde? No, DR Congo. I think the games were very interesting. But I would want to add that these African games, they were actually really naive, especially Senegal. They did not they lacked game management because up to the 85th minute, they were actually leading by 2 goals to nil. I actually posted on my status that there was no way, if this match was played 20 times, there was no way that Belgium was going to win during the course of the game because of the control Senegal had, because of their versatility. But I had to eat my words, and it was actually really, really saddening for Senegal and for the entire Africa. Thank you very much.
All right. Still sticking with you. You spoke about you eating, taking back your words because you have already aged Senegal to win that game. But one thing we see in the course of African team playing some of these European giants there is the fact that we come out first with a whole lot of make-believe tactics, scoring a brace even in the first half of the game. But I see us lacking all that it takes to sustain the momentum into the second half, and you begin to see some lapses. A team that was doing first from the first half begin to lack all it takes to sustain it. Does that not mean that the African players or the African contingent, does that not mean that we are not really exposed to the kind of football that the European side is bringing on board to us?
Thank you very, very much, Mr. Gordon. I think I would want to agree with you. I think when it comes to tactics, when it comes to game management, I think the African teams, they are actually lacking in that area. Because I would want to add, let's not just focus on criticisms. The African teams, they are greatly improved. Jairo Congo, I could not believe what I was watching. For during the course of the game, England was on the back foot. Even the game against Senegal, as I earlier said, that the Senegalese dominated the match until the 85th minute. So I would want to say that it now points to the fact that we actually need to improve tactics wise. I don't know if it's due to the lack of, I might be wrong. I don't know if it's due to proper training, if it's due to the lack of this European experience, as you put it. But I think we really need to learn game management, improve our tactics in Africa. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you so much. Dr. Israel, I will be coming to you and I want you to analyze the issue both from the refereeing all through the matches as that have taken place. And I just want to now ask or bring this to your attention. In the course of most of these games, you begin to find, like Soko raised, the lack of game management and the rest. But you see us sustaining the pace to when I say us now, I mean the African side. we may have been sustaining the pace to a large extent, only to see us start conceding so much. Could this be accredited to say fear? I really do not know what is wrong. Nigeria is not there. I would have said the Nigerian side would have done better because we have a whole lot of exposed players. But I cannot really say that with the likes of countries that have lost the game. Take, for instance, Senegal, who we are proud to say are the AFCON winners. See the way their game went. What do you have to say about all of this?
Thank you very much, Mr. Godwin. Let us give a kudos to all the African teams. They have done very well, except for South Africa, which everybody plus me, I don't like them. Even if they played well, also I'm holding Canada to most the dying minutes. Africans didn't improve, like Kekome said. Let me say something. If we are saying game management and poor tactics, we agree. But let me also add the crop of players we have in Africa. It's affecting us too, because if you watch the European teams, they have second 11 that are coming. Even if when the first one are tired, they change the players. But if you look at our bench in Africa, you'll be surprised that what they are bringing to come and help support the people playing cannot match the energy. You understand? So I feel that the players selection we don't have deep players that can continue that consistently. If Morocco, sorry, the Congo, the DRC Congo players, they have a good sub that will come and hold that same energy from the beginning. They will do so. Same for Senegal. You look at their sub and they bring up some more players that with their energy that will just drop the pace of the game. So I think apart from fine play management, I think the players they take with the World Cup is not enough to win to continue or win a game for us in Africa. But I know in the future when we begin to get new players from agreeing to play for their own country time, we'll do better than the European team. And we are doing better and believe we'll do better. For the officiating angle, the rest the organizers and the officials have done very well. They have improved very well, even if there are some issues. I like the way the VR will call the referee to the monitor and he will check and makes his own decision, not VRO making the decision for him. He will tell you that even if the VRO has called, does not mean I will give a penalty. It means they are not giving the power and the right to the referee to decide what it should be, not VRO calling to intervene unnecessarily. They have done very well. I have not, if I want to score them, I will score them 80 over 100. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much, Dr. Israel. 80 over 100 is indeed a pass mark to anyone. And if we were to rate it within our marking scheme in Nigeria, that would be an A to the officiating or the umpires of the 2026 FIFA World Cup Day. And Somto, I just want to ask, one team that you love to see go places in this World Cup is the likes of
Team Ronaldo.
Team Ronaldo. All right. Now, let me bring it from this perspective. If you look at, say, the Argentine team, you see that it's more or less them playing and making ways for, or Messi trying to, how do I strike a balance now? Messi trying to fight for the team, you understand? But can you say such of the Portugal team?
Yeah. Anyway, I've not been really so impressed with the Portugal team because I feel they can do better. The Portugal some experts have it that they have one of the best teams in this World Cup. They have one of the strongest and best teams in this World Cup. They have the calibers in the first 11 and also in the substitution. But yet they kind of play. I still see them exhibit on the pitches. It's not quite convincing for a people that would want to lift up the trophy. I strongly believe that they could do better because while I watched the previous match in the early hours of on Sunday against Colombia, I felt like Colombia had a better play. Colombia had they had speed. They were not giving you to chance. They were not giving chance to anyone. If as soon as the ball gets to you, they come very close to attack. They are not giving you breathing space to think of where your next opponent is. They were so swift in their tic tac. But then when you came to Portugal, I noticed that Portugal were so relaxed. They were so relaxed to the extent that Colombia was so happy that they drew that match. Meanwhile, because they knew that Portugal was a great team, that if for Colombia to have drawn that match, to them it was more of a victory that they drew the match, because they knew that with the kind of players that Portugal had or have in this World Cup, they actually should be dominating the space. I strongly believe that they can do better. They are not enough chances. They are not creating enough chances. Just as you gave an illustration with Messi, I'm not a Messi fan, but I still acknowledge the fact that he is a good player. But I feel like the Argentina and the Argentine team might be the Argentine team. All right, thank you. They tend to create more atmosphere for for Messi. When in the likes of, I don't know if probably Ronaldo doesn't seem to get such chances, and I also still feel like probably his age is telling on him. But come what may, I'm still rooting for him. He must lift this World Cup. If he's not going to lift it, let the World Cup just end. Let Jesus just come.
All right. I believe do I think that Soko is also in line with that thought. But Comrade Soko, I just want to ask and take your last word for on the sports segment this morning. What can you say as regards to the performance of the Moroccans so far? Despite how the last AFCON went, I think they are the only African team presently that is doing us proud. We've not seen Cape Verde, the last of them yet, but with the Moroccan performance, what's your assessment? And which country are you seeing scaling through to say the quarterfinal?
Okay, thank you very, very much. I would want to say that I completely agree with Mr. Zunto in the studio. I am a Ronaldo fan, and I told someone if Messi should like, he should score 20 goals in this World Cup. It's not going to change how we feel about him. So on the Moroccan team, I would say that I actually predicted that Morocco was going to beat Netherlands, because if you watch them from their first game against Brazil, playing Brazil and training against Brazil, something that is, I think, is out of this world. So from that game, I was able to see that these people really had what it takes to go all the way. So I think Morocco has they've actually done us proud, and I think this might be naive to say, but it's probably maybe probably their proximity with you. I think from Morocco, you can actually see Spain. So probably that's what is happening. That's what is making their mentality to be dislike, because the game against last game they played, I think they scored at the 9 minutes. On the 91 minutes, most of other African teams would have actually just given up. So I think Morocco, I'm tipping them all the way for this tournament, even the semi-finals, actually the final, because they are proved to be able to match anything in the world. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you so much, Comrade Soko. But there's this word: never say never to anything, because uh, do I use a word like the underdogs you think will not do so well are the ones that are crushing those who call the giant. It is now a case of Davids and Goliaths there. But let the best team come up to give us the moment we all have been looking at for.
It's not the best team. Let Portugal win. That's what you
Your
should
own
say.
is that Portugal should just say, all right. Dr. Israel, do you share same sentiments with Sumto and also Comrade Soko there?
Yeah, I'm team so team Portugal, team Ronaldo. I'm fan of Ronaldo. Like maybe 10 million goals. Not support Messi.
I think
I'm not support Messi at all. I will not. I can never. The fact that he is very good. But for me, if you like, the discovery kick from inside the center of the line. It's not even if our Ronaldo uses hand to score goals, supposed to Ronaldo please. I like it. I want Portugal to even win the cup, but that will not take the fact that I will support Morocco. I am team Morocco and Portugal. Any of them should be the ones lifting the cup. So I support Morocco. I want Morocco. I wish Morocco a very good outing. Then Portugal, my own Ronaldo, should lift the cup. They should leave my Ronaldo to lift cup for us, please. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much. And I must say, it is not as easy as it comes because a whole lot of persons there are waiting, they're anticipating. If you pass through the round of 16, there's a quarterfinal, there's a semi-final, all waiting for you. But I must say, let the best team win. At this point, I want to say a very big thank you to Comrade Abraham Soko there, our sports and political analyst, and also Dr. Israel Kudayo for staying tuned with us. He is a professional referee. He has done justice to a whole lot of issues that we are discussing, and also my co-anchor here, Somto Chukwu Kizo. I want to say thank you so much, gentlemen, for being with me all through the sports segment. And very quickly, we will be going for the message for the day, and this is coming from no other but our father in God, Brad Bele Akane. And the message he's saying is what message is God putting in our hearts. So please, let's take a watch and a listen.
We're going to look at what is the message that will bring recovery to the earth, that will bring the authority of God to bear upon the generations of men. What message is God putting in our mouth? What is he asking us to go and do? The message that subdues the earth. And how do we run with it? As our brother was coming on the issues of extending, pushing the frontiers, breaking the boundaries, going beyond our old boundaries, pushing the battle to the gates of the enemy, because God has not given up on man. God has continued to say it is not the will of God for any man to perish. God has continued to talk about the value of a soul. He said, what does it profit a man if he gains the whole world and he loses his own soul? If to say the soul of man has something you can exchange with it. If to say, well, if we don't have it, we can have something else, we'll have said it's okay. But every soul is so crucial to God that if any of it is lost, then it's an eternal loss. But this moment, I want to go ahead where we stopped in the morning and where our brother just stopped and the songs that the Holy Spirit has brought to us. I want us to go ahead so that we build all this together before we finally make some definite commitment to God as the Lord is beginning to guide us. Now, I want you to note there are a few issues that are pertinent in understanding why the gospel must be preached, why men have to be reached, why there is no other hope unless Christ and him crucified will be preached. And as we look at that, we'll look at what it is that God is asking us to go and subdue the earth with. Every time I have gone anywhere and preached the cross and preached Christ and him crucified, I've seen the power of God releasing men from the power of darkness. I've seen God releasing men from their bondages. I've seen all what you call all the things that you go from one deliverance meeting to another for. I found that because the cross of Jesus was not properly preached, your bondage has continued. You have traveled from one man to another, one man of God to another, looking for deliverance. And yet, it is at the cross that Jesus said, the word of God said, he abolished all ordinances that stood against us. He blotted it out. He took it out of the way and nailed it to the cross. He said he disarmed principalities and power, triumphing over them by the cross. You see, at the cross, it was not only our sin that Jesus took away, he took away the power of Satan to oppress. So when a man has come to experience the crucified life, he has also come to experience complete victory from the power of Satan. Satan became disarmed at the cross. And when you come preaching the cross of Christ, you are directly reminding Satan of his downfall. He doesn't like to hear it. The reason why he blackmails the preaching of the cross and make even those of us that are preachers, you think that when you are preaching the cross, you are looking as if you are old-fashioned. It's appearing as if you don't have a good message. So you like to be speaking motivational messages that cannot save anybody. Psychology cannot deliver any man. The study of people's way of mind, the way of thinking, cannot deliver them. What has kept them in bondage is more than psychology. And the only thing that would deliver them from their captor is the cross. So when we go forth and preach Christ and him crucified, the whole world is shaking and quaking because we are coming with the axe to the root of the matter.
All right, welcome back, viewers. There you had it from our Father in God, person of Bragbele Akanide. And the message is apt. What is the Lord saying to you this morning? What message is it putting in your heart? For me, I would say it is so clear. Jesus and him crucified. That is just from my end. Sunto, in say 30 seconds, what have you picked from what Bragbele said?
I was blessed. And just as he said, what is Jesus saying? It's a rhetorical question to me. It's a question I will need to sit back and ask myself and be sure that he's really saying so.
All
Am I
right.
listening enough to hear what he's saying? Thank you.
I think I love that part where you say, are you listening enough to actually know what he's saying? I love that. Thank you so much. And so Comrade Abraham Soko, your last word on the show this morning, have you been blessed by that message?
Yeah, thank you very much, Mr. Godwin. First off, I also want to align my thoughts with the bishop. And there's something that he actually said that caught my attention is that you don't actually need to run from church to church to actually have that fulfillment. Because in this our current generation, there's this tendency that Anglicanism, Catholicism, they are not actually so Pentecostal. A lot of people have they have disillusioned. But what I would want to say is that when you have that personal relationship, you have that spiritual fulfillment. I don't think that you have any problem with the liturgical nature of both the Anglicanism and Catholicism. Thank you very much, Mr. Bob.
All right, thank you so much. And I will take that as your last word also for the show. And then to you, Dr. Israel Kudayo, your last word on the show this morning. All right, it's obvious Dr. Israel is out of time on network with us. And sincerely, I want to say a very big thank you once more to my virtual guest, in person of Comrade Abraham Soko, for joining us all through the various segments and making apt contribution to all what we are discussing. But we would not go on this show this morning without doing the due diligence. I sincerely, on behalf of the entire management and staff of ACNN, we want to wish you, Comrade Abraham Soko, a happy birthday. It is our prayer that the good Lord will bless you, the Lord will keep you, the Lord will make his face to shine upon you, the Lord will be gracious towards you and give you his peace, even now and forevermore. Happy birthday once more from all of us in Advent Cable Network Television. Thank you, and God bless you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Godwin. Thank you, Mr. Zodo.
Happy birthday.
I want to appreciate the entire staffs and management of ACNN Network. I appreciate your best wishes. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And a big thank you to Dr. Israel Kudayo, who is a professional sport referee. Thank you for joining us all through the segment. And to my wonderful brother in the studio, Somto, thank you so much.
Thank you, Godwin.
Thank you. All right, viewers, there you have it. And this would be the size of our package on today's show. I want to thank every one of you viewers for staying tuned. Remember, you can get more of our programs via our various social media platform and also by staying tuned to this station. And then we would be leaving you now, but we're not just leaving you. We would be leaving you with the weather updates. I don't know if you went out with your umbrella, if you went out with your a proper covering for your body, given the kind of weather we have now. ACNN is right here to give you updates all across and the globe, and would also be taking the Pidgin English segment. With that, we'll say bye for now.
To your global weather update for Thursday, July 2nd, 2026. We're tracking significant weather shifts across several continents today. In North Africa, the summer heat continues to build. Most regions will remain dry and sunny, with temperatures staying well above the seasonal average from Libya to Algeria. Tropical weather remains very active across West and Central Africa. Frequent thunderstorms and heavy rain showers are forecast for the coastal and inland regions throughout the day. East Africa will see scattered clouds with a chance of light showers. Meanwhile, Southern Africa continues to experience stable, clear winter weather with cool nights and mild days. Southern Europe remains a hotspot for summer sunshine. Clear skies and warm Mediterranean breezes will dominate the weather across Italy, Spain, and the Greek islands. Northern and Western Europe will see more varied conditions. A series of frontal systems are bringing increased cloud cover and intermittent rain to the UK, France, and Scandinavia. The South Asian monsoon is producing significant rainfall today. Heavy downpours are expected across much of India and the surrounding regions, with a high chance of localized flooding. Southeast Asia will be humid with scattered afternoon storms, while East Asia sees a mix of cloud and sun as high pressure begins to build over the region. North America's weather is a mix of summer conditions. While the South remains hot and humid, the Midwest and East Coast should be alert for scattered evening thunderstorms. In South America, the tropical North continues to see consistent daily rainfall. Further south, the winter pattern holds firm with cool, stable conditions across the southern cone. Focusing on Nigeria, the southern states are in the middle of a significant rainy spell. Expect heavy rain and occasional thunderstorms from Lagos to the Niger Delta. The central states will also see active weather today. Afternoon thunderstorms are likely across the FCT and surrounding regions, potentially bringing intense bursts of rain. Northern Nigeria remains the warmest and driest part of the country. Hazy, partly cloudy skies will be the main feature, with only a small chance of isolated showers. That concludes our global weather briefing for this Thursday. We hope this information helps you navigate your day safely and efficiently. Thank you for joining us. Have a productive and safe day ahead, and we'll see you tomorrow for more weather insights. Goodbye for now.
Now from Romans chapter 8, from verse 1 to 11. This na the message when Apostle Paul write to the Christian church for Rome, when he dey talk about the Holy Spirit life. So I go start from verse 1. So God no go condemn people when believe Jesus Christ, since the Holy Spirit don give una life wey come from Jesus Christ. He go free una from sin and death. Moses law no fit do these things, because the yeye life when we dey live don make the law weak. But God don free us when he send the pikin come like human being, when be sinner, make he for sacrifice himself for our sins. God do so that wetin the Lord talk go happen when we obey the Spirit instead of our own mind. Because people, when they live by their own mind, they think of only themselves. But everybody, when the Holy Spirit dey rule, they think of things when the Holy Spirit want. If we let sin rule our mind, we go die. But if na the Spirit dey rule us, we go get life and peace. People wey dey sin, na God enemy they be, because they no obey in law, since they no fit obey am. Those when they obey sin, no go fit make God happy. But una no dey obey sin. Instead, na as the Spirit say make una live, na so una dey live. Christ dey live inside una. So una go dey alive, because God don accept una. Even though una body must die because of una sins. If God's Spirit, when raise Jesus Christ from death, dey inside una, then when raise Jesus Christ from death, go give una body life, because of his Spirit when dey inside una. This na the message when Apostle Paul write, give the Christians for Rome.